Okay. All right. If you are watching this video, this is a posted live stream. Early video for me. Usually I go live in the morning, but we're super early now. This is going to be the first press conference of Tom Homan in Minneapolis as far as the operations being conducted in Minnesota. So, got up early for this one. We're going to be waiting. Pretty big news here. I'm curious how many of you will actually be joining. Good morning, Paul. Hello. So yeah, right now we are just simply waiting on this live stream. And then I think I will be continuing with the morning show. Like once this is done, just give me like a few minutes and then we will do our morning show. I got to put that together. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys. I'll try to make this as entertaining as possible. Hello. Yeah, this is way early for me, way early. I had to set 2 alarms. But yeah, I'm very curious what's about to happen. Very curious. I think this is going to set the tone for this operation. We'll see. We'll see if Tom Homan's going to have an aggressive posture. We don't know. But I thought you guys would find this interesting. I was going to play this for the morning show, the actual morning show. But since you guys are really early with me, up and early, I'm going to show you guys this right now. And by the way, make sure you guys are please liking the live stream. It helps out a ton so everybody can see what's happening. We actually got a message from Chief Bovino. Hey, wow, somebody became a member super early. Thank you. Dina, John, 743, thank you. And again, make sure you guys are please liking the stream. Share, leave your comments. Yeah, Mr. Chief Bovino left us a message. Not, well, everybody, but you know what I mean. Here's what he had to say.
Behind me are a few individuals there. That's the original turn and burn. The folks that helped make America. But you know what? I'm very proud of what you, the Mean Green Machine, are doing in Minneapolis right now, just like you've done it across the United States over these past tough 9 months. And I want you to know that you're the modern day equivalent. Turn and burn. Makes me very proud. I also want you to know that I've got your back now and always. I love you, I support you, and I salute you.
Turn and burn. If you guys are unaware, turn and burn was sort of coined by Chief Bovino and his men as far as their rapid response, their capabilities, their aggressive posture, and yeah, I think that's going to be the last message we're ever going to hear from Chief Bovino, if I'm being honest with you guys. So we'll see. But yeah, he was standing in front of the old Mount Rushmore. Yeah. So again, this is going to be a big deal, I think, with Tom Homan. Nobody really knows what to expect. I think Tom Homan has a lot more power than Chief Bovino as far as if he wants a lot of men right now, he can have it tomorrow, men or women. You know what I mean? If he tells President Trump, I need 3,000 agents to get the job done, it's going to happen. I don't think Chief Bovino had that leeway. I think where Chief Bovino could be better than a Tom Homan is that on the localized level, on the ground, Chief Bovino could go into a county or area and expose how the police are not working with federal agents, expose how many protesters there are, and then he gets out of there. I think that's one thing that could be lacking from the Trump administration. It's going to be very hard to replace Bovino in that aspect. I'm acting like this is the actual live show. For those of you just joining, I do an actual live show that's about in 2 hours. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of a snippet of what's to come. It's being reported that ICE agents are being told to stop interacting with protesters. Stop the snappiness, stop the filming, stop the trolling. And about 2 months ago, I started to highlight on my YouTube channel that was becoming a lot more common. Like out of nowhere, we were seeing federal agents troll the protesters. especially in Portland. I think in Portland, that's when we really started to see an increase of federal agents not caring. When I say not caring, I mean sort of doing something we haven't seen before. Over in Portland, they played like a Donald Trump voice one time. They'll play like the national anthem from their cars, stuff like that. So that is being reported by Reuters, by the way. Again, I will get into all of that in the show, but this is supposed to be the Tom Homan conference, so we're waiting for that. Yes, I am up very early, and are you guys up early too? I don't know where you guys are at, but this is pretty early for me. And I cannot believe, I hope for those of you still affected by the snowstorm, there are still a lot of people without power. So God bless you guys. I hope you guys are okay. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys. Haven't had coffee yet. I know, I agree. Sitting at work waiting for it to warm up. If you have something, then show it. I am waiting right now. I do want to say this. I'm quite surprised that Homeland Security is also streaming this. The fact that Homeland is streaming this and other like government outlets, I think that's a big deal too. I think the Trump administration really, I don't want to say control the narrative, but wants to be very careful on who is not restreaming, who is trying to promote something that the Trump administration doesn't want promoted, in my opinion. Ray Taylor says, it seems like all this immigration stuff is kind of a distraction. I have no idea. I know immigration is like probably, the top 3 policies or topics the Trump administration runs on or operates off of. It seems like every single thing correlates to illegal immigration when it comes to the Trump administration. Security, illegal immigration. Housing rates, illegal immigration. It seems like it's everything. So I think this is why it's such a big deal. It might seem like a distraction, but this is definitely one of the biggest deals for the Trump administration. They've kind of gone all in on this. Good morning, John. Waltman. Good morning, Crystal. Been up since 5 after 7 now. Early crew. And all the people who actually watch my scheduled show, they're going to be like, did I miss something? Yeah, you missed the first press conference from Tom Homan in Minneapolis. Now, the big question is he going to throw the mayor and the governor under the bus? When's this supposed to happen? 15 minutes ago. I don't think I've ever streamed a press conference that was ever on time, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. The last press conference we did, which ironically is the last press conference of Chief Bovino, they were like 45 minutes late. Bovino wasn't fired or demoted. He was sent to his home sector. Yeah, I think there's still a lot of misconceptions about that. If you want to say he wasn't fired or demoted, that's fine. But his title went from commander to chief, and he is going to the sector, which is a very high rank. I think there's only 20 others who hold that rank that Chief Bovino has. I think to a lot of other Americans, he was absolutely fired. He was absolutely demoted, and that position is no longer a thing. So, but I do get what you're saying. I know that Nick Sorter is. It looks like Nick Sorter is on a campaign to get Chief Bovino back. He's very upset. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Sorter is possibly trying to talk to some people and reason with them and ask, can Chief Bovino come back? Nick Sorter is saying he should be promoted to commissioner. Trump is 100% behind Bovino. I agree. I think Trump loves Bovino. I am just confused. how they're going to continue the way they're operating the Trump administration without a Bovino type, because they were heavily reliant on Border Patrol working in the interior of the country the way Bovino was. So I don't know how they're going to do it. It seemed like the tactic was you send Bovino to a Chicago or to Louisiana, and you just get that initial federal element in there. And Bovino was really exposing a lot of things that were happening on the ground. City councilors were like showing up trying to protest Bovino, and I think that was opening up a lot of eyes as far as who's really involved with not just the protesting, but like serious pushback on the ground. I mean, Bovino was like literally face to face with the mayor of Evanston up in Illinois. And again, whether or not you agree with it, I think the Trump administration was actually reliant on stuff like that to get that out in the media and the news, because I don't think people really realize what was happening in sanctuary cities. And when it comes to a Chief Bovino, that's what you got. Chief Bovino could go to any sanctuary city, and he's going to make a ton of people pissed off. And you saw it. We're waiting for the Tom Homan press conference right now. Yeah, the News Life says, it's not uncommon to rotate commanders. Happens all the time. Homan Bovino was not a downgrade. No, by the way, I am not saying it's a downgrade. I've always held the position. I think Homan has way more power than Bovino. Homan can get more done than Bovino on a bigger scale. The only issue is that Bovino was just like, he held a unique role of almost being an ambassador, a commander, and a frontline soldier. And I think it's hard to replace that. I think you can rotate any commander, but I think sometimes some people are either hard to replace or we just got really used to how they operated. But we'll see. Maybe we'll see another Bovino. I do think the Bovino mission was maybe not sustainable, but like very hard to maintain. I think Bovino was very unique in that like he loved his job and he probably could do it forever. But those men were getting injured left and right. And they must be tired. And I think they signed up for a mission that they have to understand their whole lives could be ruined. Like every single one of them probably have been leaked, unfortunately. And so that's a very tough job to begin with. So to do that for 9 months straight is pretty impressive. Whether or not you like them, you have to, from a tactical standpoint, that's a very, very difficult duty. And good morning. Somebody, Crazy Bud said, Homan is always late. I mean, to be honest with you, Homan's probably like, why are we doing this so early? Like half of the United States is not even up right now. And just to show you guys, Homan can do this. If Homan wants to be 2 hours late, Homan can be 2 hours late. He can do whatever he wants. He's the commander on the ground right now. He's in charge of this operation. They needed 3 Bovinos in the city. Again, it's hard to say. I had always said whenever I did these videos, I never fully knew what Bovino's job was because they had him doing everything. In the Minneapolis mission, Chief Bovino was pulling like riot control. And in Chicago, Chief Bovino was like blocking off the Broadview facility. That's not their jobs. I mean, technically, like a federal agent on that tactical level, yeah, you tell him to go defend a building, he probably can do it. But generally speaking, Border Patrol and Chief Bovino, that was not technically his job, but he was doing like double duty. So they had him doing a lot. Better late than never, yeah. So again, we are waiting for this press conference from Tom Homan. Make sure you guys are please liking the live stream. It helps out a ton. Usually I go live like 2 hours from now. So if you guys are here early, thank you for being here. I hold the position. I think this is going to really set the tone for what's to come or what's happening. I am hoping Tom Homan talks about the conversations with the mayor and the governor. I think a lot of people don't really trust the situation. I mean, we've really had a bit of a shakeup, as President Trump says. And when I say don't trust the situation, on day one, Tom Homan said he had a great productive conversation. The mayor said we had a great productive conversation. And then the next day, the mayor says, by the way, we're not working with you guys when it comes to federal deportations. And then that's when President Trump got heated. So, and last night they also did a town hall meeting. I have a bunch of clips already synced up for you guys for the actual morning show, which I will be doing after this. They did a town hall with CNN's Anderson Cooper, and they said some pretty interesting stuff there. Again, you just never get a direct answer when it comes to a lot of sanctuary leaders. I don't want to single out the mayor of Minneapolis, but the mayor of Minneapolis, whenever he gets asked about illegal immigrants who happen to be criminals, you don't really get that straight answer. What you really hear is, we want to fight crime and find the bad guys. So. Hi, everyone from Scotland. Hello, Scotland. Great to see you. We're about to hear from Mr. Tom Homan. You're too left, dude. No, I'm a Christian conservative, but I've been burnt so many times. Here we go. There you go, Christian conservative. Now you know.
Good morning. Too early, isn't it?
Tom, you got to talk louder, though. There you go.
Look, I've been given talking points, and I don't like reading speeches, never have.
Tom is so quiet.
My chief of staff did put some stuff down here in writing just to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm going to be reading a little bit, and then we're going to open up for questions. I've been on the ground less than 3 full days. I got in here on Monday. President of the United States called me Monday morning and asked me to deploy here. Got here Monday evening, and I'm staying till the problem's gone. But we've made a lot of progress in the last 3 days. Marcos Charles, he's running ICE operations here. Rodney Scott, Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, standing here beside me.
I'm trying to make it louder. That is literally Tom Homan talking super quiet.
President Trump, I'm here on behalf of the President, along with U.S. Commissioner for U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Rodney Scott, and Marcos Charles, who's leading the enforcement effort here right now. I've been on the ground since Monday to regain law and order in the city beloved by many, and work together to remove threats from the community. During the past administration, we'll all remember, more than 10 million illegal aliens entered this nation. Many were national security threats, public safety threats. We can't remember over 2 million known gotaways. 2 million people who paid more to get away. Why? That should scare the hell out of everybody. President Trump promised American people, including the residents of Minnesota, that he would work to ensure our communities are safe. And with that, this administration is absolutely focused on identifying removal aliens that pose a public safety threat and national security threats. And the numbers prove it. The data proves it. In the past few days, I've met with Governor Walz, Attorney General Ellison, Mayor Fry, numerous police chiefs, and sheriffs, and I have more to meet. I'll also be continuing the dialogue with business and religious leaders in partnership with Minnesota, your community leaders. I'll be meeting with them too, because I want to hear what they have to say. In my meetings with folks so far, and most important, the governor and the AG, the Mayor Fry, we didn't agree on everything. I didn't expect to agree on anything. I've heard many people want to know why we're talking to people who they don't consider friends in administration. Bottom line is you can't fix problems if you don't have discussions. I didn't come to Minnesota for photo ops or headlines. You haven't seen me. I came here to seek solutions, and that's what we're going to do. And we've come a long way. And we got some good wins for the people of Minnesota, I think, and for the administration and for the safety and security of this city. One thing we did agree on, though, everybody I talked to agreed on, was that community safety is paramount. One thing we all agreed on was U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement is a legitimate law enforcement agency that has a duty to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and keep this community safe. Like I've said many times for the last several years, even before this administration, jurisdictions that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities are sanctuaries for criminals. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals and endangers the residents of the community. To be clear, that they would be involved in immigration enforcement. I didn't ask them to be immigration officers. I'm asking.
Just so you guys know, everyone's volume is low. It's Tom Homan's side, it's DHS's side. Just so you guys know.
We did agree upon is not to release public safety arrests back in the community, and they could be lawfully transferred to ICE. I'll speak more about that. I will highlight that the Minnesota State Prison System under the Department of Corrections have been honoring ICE detainers. And we appreciate that important collaboration, and we're going to expand upon that. That decision has made Minnesota safer, not only for residents of Minnesota, but the men and women law enforcement. Not just ICE, all law enforcement. Rather than arresting the same public safety threat, significant public safety threat over and over again, they agree to work with us to identify those people and remove them. I'm also pleased to announce I had a very good meeting with Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail. And let me tell you why that's important. I know people are a lot of concerned about the manpower has been sent in law enforcement manpower. Look, I've said this many times before. I've said it for the last several years. Give us access to the illegal alien public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail. It's common sense. It's safer for the community, it's safer for the agent, and it's safer for the alien. Because anything can happen on a street arrest. It just makes common sense. And for the people that argue, well, we're a welcoming community because we want victims and witnesses of crime that are here illegally to feel safe to come to police without fear they're working with ICE, we're not going to talk to the victim and witness of crime. There's no problem there. They should feel safe to come to police and ask for help. All we want is to talk to the person that local and state law enforcement authorities locked in a jail cell. They chose to lock this person up. That's who we want to talk to, the public safety threat. So that argument is that protects victim witnesses of crime. It's a bunch of crap. Victims and witnesses of crime don't want the bad guy back in their neighborhood either. So great progress with the Attorney General and local sheriffs. And one thing, when we have these agreements, it takes less law enforcement agents to do the job. One agent can arrest one bad guy in the safety and security of a jail where he's behind the wire. We know we don't have weapons. But when you normally release that public safety threat, illegal alien back in the community, we have a job to do. We're going to arrest him. So we're going to find him. And what happens is now we got to arrest somebody on his turf. We have access to who knows what weapons. Now we got to send the whole team out. Cover the back door, cover the front door, officer safety reasons. Then because of the hateful rhetoric and the attacks on ICE officers, now we got to send a security team behind the arrest team. So what could have been done with one person in a safety and security jail, now we got 15, 16 people out there doing it. I know that causes stress in the community. So if we get these agreements in place, that means less agents on the street. More agents in the jail means less agents in the street. This is common sense cooperation that allows us to draw down on the number of people we have here. Yes, I said it. Draw down the number of people here. Because we have the efficiency and safety of the jails and the prison. Matter of fact, I have staff from CBP and from ICE working on a draw-down plan. What does that look like based on the cooperation? What does that look like based on how many targets we have left to find?
For those of you just joining, it's Homeland Security, not me. Sorry, guys. It's the volume on their end.
State and local law enforcement. Again, I appreciate they all acknowledge that we do have federal immigration laws in this country that have been passed by Congress, and that ICE is in fact a legitimate law enforcement agency charged with enforcing those laws. We're not making this up, folks. ICE is enforcing laws enacted by Congress. They're a federal statute. That said, I'm not here because the federal government has carried this mission out perfectly. First thing I said to senior staff when I walked in here is what I told you earlier. I didn't come here looking for photo ops or headlines. I come here looking for solutions. I do not want to hear that everything that's been done here has been perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. Anything can be improved on. And what we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient, by the book. The mission is going to improve because of the changes we're making internally. No agency or organization is perfect. And President Trump and I, along with others in the administration, have recognized that certain improvements could and should be made. That's exactly what I'm doing here. As such, in meetings I've had with federal law enforcement managers, including ICE and CBP and other federal partners, as well as state and local officials, I have conveyed the President's expectations with regard to federal immigration enforcement efforts. We will conduct targeted enforcement operations. Targeted. What we've done for decades. When we hit the streets, we know exactly who we're looking for. Good idea where we may find them. You have a criminal history. You have their immigration history. A lot of information about this person that we get from numerous databases out there. Targeted, strategic enforcement operations. That's traditionally been the case. And that's where we're going. That's what we're going to continue to do and improve upon that. With a prioritization on public safety threats. I want to be clear. I don't read a lot of social media. I don't read a lot of media. I don't believe half what I see. We are not surrendering the President's mission on immigration enforcement. Let's make that clear. Prioritization of criminal aliens doesn't mean that we forget about everybody else. That's just simply ridiculous. But when you have a criminal standing here and a non-criminal standing there, that criminal always should be targeted first because he's a significant concern to the safety and security of the community. By at large for decades, ICE and CBP have carried out their duties with integrity, professionalism, and compassion. That remains the expectation under President Trump, and I will, hold our agents and officers to that standard. I'm almost done, then Tom can be Tom. As far as the agitators, that said, I want to reiterate and make very clear. I want to make it clear. ICE and CBP officers are performing their duties in a challenging environment under tremendous circumstances. But they're trying to do it with professionalism. If they don't, they'll be dealt with. Like any other federal agency, we have standards of conduct.
Wow.
They are sworn law enforcement officers working tirelessly to enforce our country's border security and immigration laws, protecting the interests of our country and preventing dangerous people from walking the streets of this nation when they're not supposed to be here to begin with. Men and women of ICE, I was a Border Patrol agent. I was an ICE agent. I was the first ICE director that came up through the ranks. I spent over 40 years doing this. These men and women that carry that badge and gun are American patriots. They put themselves on the line for this nation every day. But I want you to remember, they don't hang their badge, they don't hang their heart on a hook every day they come to work. They're mothers and fathers too. They're sons and daughters too. And if they've seen a fraction of the tragedies I've seen in my career, they take a lot of damage home to every day. The things they've seen, especially on the border with Border Patrol agents. People drowning in the river. Women being raped by criminal cartels. Giving CPR to a baby that was thrown in the river by the cartels because Border Patrol came too close. So let's throw the baby in the river. That way the Border Patrol was concentrated on that so I can get away. These men and women see some terrible things. But I want you to remember, they're mothers and fathers too. Many of them are members of this community. God bless every one of them. The hostile rhetoric and dangerous threats and hate must stop. And we all agreed to that. All everybody met here to tell you, we got to stop the rhetoric, the hateful rhetoric that has caused an increase in assaults. That has caused, because of that, have to send security teams out with arrest teams, which surge the city with additional resources because of the rhetoric, because of the threats, because of the assaults. Again, with the agreements we've achieved and following through the agreements, with the rhetoric dropping down, that allows us to pull more agents out once we feel the environment's safer. I begged for the last 2 months on TV for the rhetoric to stop. I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed.
Whoa.
And there has been. I wish I wasn't right. I don't want to see anybody die. Not officers, not members of the community, and not the targets of our operations. For the people out there who don't like what ICE is doing, if you want certain laws reformed, then take it up with Congress. Again, ICE is making this up. They're enforcing laws enacted by Congress and signed by the President. The same laws have been on the books for the last 6 presidents I worked for. I started with President Reagan and ending with President Trump. Every administration, we enforce the same laws. If you don't like what ICE is doing, instead of protesting this building, go protest Congress. Tell me what changes. You have your First Amendment rights. I support that. You have the right to protest. I'm just asking you to keep it peaceful. But threatening law enforcement officers, engaging in impeding and obstruction and assault is never okay. And there will be zero tolerance. You interfere, impede, assault ICE officers, you will be arrested. Like I said a bit earlier in my meetings with Governor Walton, Ellison, and Frey, as well as state and local law enforcement, I appreciate they acknowledge this, that public safety should be paramount. The chiefs I've talked to committed to responding to 911 calls when protesters turn violent, agents are in a dangerous situation, and there's assaults. They have committed to upholding public safety and responding to the needs, not to enforce immigration law, but to keep the peace. With that, I call upon those officials to stand shoulder to shoulder with us to tone down the dangerous rhetoric and condemn all.
For those of you just joining, it's DHS's side, not mine, for the volume.
There are many ways to voice your voice can be heard, express your feelings, and affect change in the country without crossing that line. Political and other disagreements in this realm should not be at the expense of public safety or the safety of federal law enforcement officers. In closing, I want to thank the state and local officials here in Minnesota that I met with and the many I'm going to meet with. We've had meaningful dialogue. And look, Again, we didn't agree on everything, but we agreed on the things I just talked about. There's much more we can do. And I'm going to continue this dialogue. I got many more community leaders to talk to. I got many more sheriffs to meet. President Trump wants this fixed, and I'm going to fix it with your help. I want to thank President Trump for his unwavering commitment to public safety and prosperity of every American. Under the President's leadership, we have the most secure border in the history of this nation, which means less women are being raped, less children are dying crossing that border, less fentanyl is getting in this country to kill Americans, less known suspected terrorists are crossing that country. And we don't have 2 million unknown gotaways. We don't know who the hell they are. A secure border, and we have stronger national security. A secure border saves lives. When 96% less people come in, how many women aren't being successful to be members of the cartel? How many people aren't dying making that journey? How many Americans aren't dying of fentanyl overdoses? How many women and children aren't being sex trafficked in this nation? The data proves it. Anybody can find that data. So God bless this great nation. God bless Minnesota. We can do better. And I thank your local and state leaders meeting with me. We made some significant gains, significant coordination and cooperation, and you're going to see some massive changes occurring here in this city. Thank you.
Thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. Brian.
Right here. Thank you so much, Mr. Homan, Giovanna Delorto with the Associated
And again, we will get into the after-action comments. I'm really curious how you guys feel.
Can you be more specific about the objectives of Operation Metro Surge? If what you have described changes the parameters for interior enforcement only in Minnesota or also in Maine and other places? And finally, when would you consider that those objectives will be achieved and this operation will end? Is it in terms of agents on the ground, in terms of who you are targeting for arrests?
The withdrawal of law enforcement resources here is dependent upon cooperation. Like I said, one agent arresting one bad guy in the jail means less agents on the street. We have some agreements. We got more to talk about how we're going to implement those agreements. But as we see that cooperation happen, then the redeployment will happen. Look, target enforcement operations should happen across the nation. That's what we've done for decades. And with target enforcement operations, I've done many of them. It just makes it safer for everybody. When we know exactly what we're looking for, what is his criminal history, what is his immigration history, where's he live, is he in an apartment complex versus a house, has he got a known record for having weapons, it's safer for everybody. Then we know what type of resources we need to go. And you know, it just makes this operation cleaner, more efficient, and it's proven less violence when we know exactly what we're getting into.
The question was, what are you going to do to change this operation? Is it less resources, more cooperation? And Tom Homan is saying we're going to cooperate more.
Violence. So we know you got to be a little bit different when you go into the house because there's going to be children present. So target enforcement operations, the way we've always done it, I think we got to wait for a little bit. And we're going to make sure we do target enforcement operations
and
look,
do more targeted operations. Again, I sense a lot of people are actually not going to be too happy with this speech, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Shimon Prokopez from CNN. Mr. Homan, how did we get here? In terms of, you had Greg Bovino, who was the face of this immigration operation. The mission, as you say, to having border patrol agents in the interior of this country, stopping U.S. citizens, asking them for...
Okay, his question is, how did we get here? Why did we go from Bovino to you?
Like
Does this change the
Chicago,
tactics, basically?
And now here. And then finally, it took really the death of Alex Petty for us to get here. How did that happen? Who made the decisions to allow this kind of operation to proceed in this way and to create such fear?
Well, like the Border Patrol, in the last 4 years under Joe Biden, we had an open border where 10, 12,000 people a day are coming across the border. Border Patrol got overwhelmed, which means we sent thousands of ICE agents down there to help deal with that humanitarian crisis, to help secure the border. Now we have millions of people released in this nation, many unvetted. Now we got to find them. Before the big beautiful bill, we had a total just under 5,000 deportation officers to look for millions of people, many in public safety threats. So yes, we needed Border Patrol to come and help on our mission now. And reason for the massive deployment is because of the threats, because of the violence. Our officers need to be protected. If I'm on an operation, an arrest team, I'm going to a house, I got to be busy with that guy, the dangerous guy, and I can't keep looking over my shoulder at what's happening outside that house. So we brought extra resources in to provide that security. And as I said, as we drill down on these great agreements we got and this great understanding we have means less. So we can draw down those resources. When the violence decreases, we can draw down those resources. But based on the discussions I've had with the governor and the AG, we can start drawing down those resources as far as those looking for public safety threats being released, and do it in the jail with much less people. So the drawdown is going to happen based on these agreements. But the drawdown can happen even more if the hateful rhetoric and the impediment and interference will stop. So Border Patrol, I was a Border Patrol agent. These men and women are patriots. God bless them. They're here to help us. And the drawdown will come soon, depending on when this actually, I see this in play. But the agreements to have alone is going to cause a significant drawdown. So you're going to see a drawdown.
Just on a personal,
Go ahead, Ben.
you've been doing this
Ben,
for
go
40
ahead.
years. Just a
Tom Homan.
follow-up.
Ben, go ahead.
First off, Ben Burquam, Real America's Voice News. On behalf of the American people, I just want to say thank you to you and to all of the agents that are putting their lives on the line to go after the people that were allowed in the last administration. We watched that happen in the media, the honest media, covered up by many of the media that are behind me. We want to say thank you, and to all the men and women that are out there. Can you talk to us about what's being done with the leadership on these signal chats, on these WhatsApp chats that are organizing the attacks against you, the obstruction against you? Are we going to be arresting those individuals as well? And to the folks out there in America that voted for this, that want mass deportations because they saw a mass invasion under Joe Biden, what would you say to them? How are we going to get to that point?
Well, first of all, about the organization and the funding of the attacks on ICE. I'm not going to answer a lot about that because I'm not going to show our hand, but they'll be held accountable. Justice is coming. Again, we got to all remember why the questions we've seen and why we're here. What started this? 4 years of an open border, where millions of people are in this country unvetted. Remember, let's not forget, for 4 years we were told the border's secure. 4 years we were told the border's secure, and we all knew it wasn't. And I want this to be a positive thing we're doing here today. I also want to remember the politicians are continually attacking us. Where were they the last 4 years when the number of women and children sex trafficking went all-time high? Where were they when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the border? Where were they when women and children are dying making that journey? Where were they when over 4,000 aliens making that journey died, historic record? Where were they? Not a word. Now we're just trying to respond to what happened the last 4 years and keeping this country safe. And we're arresting a lot of public safety threats, take them off the streets, which make this country safer. President Trump promised to make this country safe again, and that's what we're doing. But my 2.5 days up here, we made a lot of progress. I think everybody agrees on the criminal and the public safety threats. They agree it's much safer and easier to arrest an alien in a facility than send a whole team out in the field that's going to draw anger, because now we got to send a bunch of people to do something that could have been done by 1 or 2 people. And I've said this for years. I have no ill will to anybody in Minnesota. All the people I talk to, we're never going to agree on everything. We have different philosophies and different opinions on immigration, but we all agree this is a way to go to reduce safety, reduce crime, not reduce safety, reduce crime and increase safety for our operations. More people in the jail means less people on the street. It's simple math.
Sir, Lana Zach, CBS News. Everybody I've spoken with agrees that if somebody has a violent criminal history and is a fugitive, they don't want them as their neighbor. But when you're talking about a targeted operation, and are you talking about targeting people whose crime is coming to this country, or is it a more specific definition now?
All operations will be targeted, but the prioritization are going to be criminal aliens, public safety threats, and national security threats. I've met with Marcos and his staff. We got a lot of them. We got a lot of them to keep us busy. So that would be our focus.
So that is enough that's what, there is not going to be a focus on people who have no other crimes except for their status.
If you're in the country illegally, you're never off the table. But prioritization doesn't mean you forget about everybody. So let me say this. If the message we send is you can enter this country illegally, it's a crime, don't worry about it. You can have your due process, show up in court, not show up in court, get ordered removed, don't worry about it. Unless you commit a serious crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the world, you're never going to fix this problem. The most vulnerable people in the world will make that dangerous journey like they did under the Joe Biden administration. Over 4,000 aliens died making that journey. And again, a significant increase in sex trafficking. Because when they did that and opened those borders up saying, we're not going to detain you, we're going to give you free health care, we're going to fly you to the city of your choice, put you in a free hotel room, give you 3 meals a day, and give you work authorization, we're just going to bring you in. And when they did that, they sent a message to the whole world, you can come and do this. And what happened? They overwhelmed the men and women of the Border Patrol, where many days 70% of agents were pulled off that line. 70%. You don't think the criminal cartels had a field day with that? They created gaps for the cartels do their activity. And that's why you've seen the rise in fentanyl overdose. That's why you saw the rise in sex trafficking. The 2 million plus known gotaways, why did they pay more to get away? Why didn't they pay less, turn yourself in, get released within 24 hours? You get a free airline ticket to the city of your choice. We're going to give you a free hotel room, and we'll give you free food and free medical care. And you're going to get work authorization in 6 months. Why did 2 million people choose to pay more not to take advantage of that giveaway program? They didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. That scares the hell out of me. And it does still. The Trump administration with ICE and Secretary Noem and Marco Rubio and the intelligence community, Tulsi Gabbard, we're all working together to try to identify who these people are. And we've already found many of them. But it's hard work to do. But there are national security threats walking this nation because of the last administration. And they are one of our main priorities, too.
Thank you. Can you please be specific about how many ICE and how many Border Patrol agents are currently operating in the state?
I think we're near 3,000. There's been some rotations. Another thing I witnessed when I came here, I'll share this with you.
He said about 3,000.
I met with a lot of people, a lot of the agents. They've been in theater. Some of these people have been in theater for 8 months. So there's going to be rotations of personnel. Hopefully less now that we have some agreements. Maybe we can make it more efficient and safe. But they've been in theater a long time. And so, there's rotations happen all the time to get people out here and go home, get some rest and see their families. Day after day, can't eat in restaurants, day after day, having people spit on you and blow whistles at you, day after day, having all these threats at you, day after day, having people trying to interfere with you, day after day. They're human. So, we've got to rotate these people, and we've already rotated some. But my main focus now is drawdown based upon the great conversations I've had with your state and local leaders. Again, I'm not a fool. I'm not walking away without seeing this put in place. But I take the word of the people I met with. I think they're honest, and I think they're good brokers, that they want public safety protected, and they also want what's happening in the city to go away. And that's my goal.
Last question in the back.
Mueller Newsmax. The new video of Alex Preddy is now circulating. Your reaction to that, and do you think law enforcement could have played a role if, let's say, Minneapolis police were able to respond to that? Have those top law enforcement officials said they'll help or do anything to help these agents who are out here?
I'm not going to comment on any of these shootings. I said from day one, I said on any of these shootings, as a career law enforcement officer, we'll let the investigation roll out, let the investigation play out, and let it go where it goes. I'm not going to come out and make any comments that I think is right, wrong. Do I have an opinion? Yeah, my personal opinion, but I'm not going to share that with you. I'm going to tell you, let the investigation play out and see where it goes. But again, the president, one of the words he said to me when I came up here, he said he didn't want to see anybody die. The less interference, the less rhetoric, the less, I have buried Border Patrol agents and I buried ICE agents throughout my career, and the saddest thing I ever done is hand a folded flag to a wife or a child. I don't want to see anybody die, even the people we're looking for. I don't want to see anybody die. And despite what people think of Tom Homan, I say a prayer every night that everybody goes home safe. This isn't good. But I think my conversations the last 2.5 days are leading us to a safer community, letting ICE officers operate in the safety and security of a jail more than on the street. I think anybody here with common sense would say it's safer to arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of a jail. And let me tell you, what is that going to result in? Less collateral arrests. When we go find that bad guy, when we find that bad guy, many times it's with others. Well, guess what? They're in the country illegally. We're going to force immigration law. They're coming too. You want less collateral arrest? Let's in the jail. But we're going to force immigration law. For the people to say we're here to surrender our authority and the mission of enforcing immigration law, you are wrong. We're going to do target enforcement operations, and we're going to prioritize the public safety threats and national security threats. That is what we're here to do.
Sir, no more questions. Go ahead. No more questions, guys. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, I wrote down some notes. Just 3 main bullet points here, and let me know how you guys feel about this. First and foremost, that was not me on the volume. Again, that was them. I hope you guys can hear me okay. That was different. We're not used to seeing that. Let's just be honest. That was a lot different. Should I put a poll up? You guys want me to put a poll up to see how everyone feels about that? Hold on, give me 1 second. So, first things first, Tom Homan off the bat said it's not perfect. Our operation is not perfect, but then he qualified it and said, nothing is ever perfect. Tom Homan kept reiterating, I want less federal agents, so downsizing. He keeps saying, we had great conversations. We had really good conversations with the mayor and the governor. I saw some of you guys in the chat say I don't really trust them. Let me get this poll up. I'm curious how you guys feel. Hold on. Let's see. It's going to be very easy. I said Homan speech, good or bad? Start poll. And some people loved it. Some people like this more diplomatic, a more stern face of an operation, if you will. He honed in on targeted operations, but I think that can be misconstrued as, when you say targeted operations, Tom Homan is also talking about if ICE is out in the street and you happen to be an illegal immigrant, that is a targeted operation. Within all technicalities, we are out on patrol. ICE is out on patrol, Border Patrol, and we're doing our job. We're deportation officers. And so I can see that talking point be misconstrued as, well, they're not a criminal illegal alien. Why are they being targeted? So Tom Homan kept reiterating targeted operations. He said it quite a few times. Again, way more diplomatic, but very stern, and would not comment on the shootings. I think Tom Homan is really trying to look at the broader perspective of things. Tom Homan has always said if you are an illegal immigrant, whether you've done the worst crime ever or you're in the country illegally, you are on the table. But again, it looks like the conversations he had with the mayor and the governor was really about this targeted operations and the downsizing of federal agents. That was a really big one too. Now, the only reason why I said I think some people might not be too happy with everything is because from the right-leaning perspective, of course, a lot of people do not trust the mayor and the governor. I mean, even Tom Homan said, I'm not dumb, I'm not going to turn around. And I think some people don't want to see any grace given to them. Again, this is my opinion. But Tom Homan said he's talking to everyone, and he even said some people don't like that I'm talking to everyone. He said he's talking to business owners. He used the word religious leaders at the beginning of the press conference. And so we're at an 85-15 split. Just to give you guys an idea, whenever I do these polls, it's usually actually a lot higher than that as far as the good. So again, it's definitely different. Now, I am very curious what the response is going to be, of course, from the mayor and from the governor. I saw some people say they're going to take total advantage of this and they're going to burn Tom Homan. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll wait and see. But what we do know is that the mayor of Minneapolis did say, I'm not going to be working with Tom Homan when it comes to federal operations with deportations. So it also looks like there's a very, very heavy focus on the prison systems. Tom Homan has always said, if you give us access to the prison systems, to the jail, to the prisons, you release those detainers, we're gonna make sure you guys have less federal agents in your city. He has been saying that since day one, not only with this Minneapolis situation. So, yeah, quite an interesting speech. Again, if you guys are just joining, we actually did have a comment from Chief Bovino last night. I do have an actual scheduled show, by the way. So if you guys want to subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications, or I do have to put together that scheduled show. But since you guys are here, this is, I think, the final statement we will hear from a Chief Bovino if you just want to hear it now. It's very quick.
Team, behind me are a few individuals there. That's the original turn and burn. The folks that help make America. But you know what? I'm very proud of what you, the Mean Green Machine, are doing in Minneapolis right now, just like you've done it across the United States over these past tough 9 months. And I want you to know that you're the modern day equivalent. Turn and burn. Makes me very proud. I also want you to know that I've got your back now and always. I love you, I support you, and I salute you.
So again, very different. We're going to be seeing very different messaging, I think, from the Trump administration. I personally do think the Trump admin wants a more peaceful dialogue with the American people, with politicians. That is my personal opinion. That's what I got from Tom Homan, and that's what President Trump has also been sort of indicating. Maybe negotiate more. Again, there seems to be a lot of emphasis on the downsizing of these federal agents. Tom Homan was not disrespectful in the fact of, everyone, they don't know what they're doing. He just used the words, it's not perfect right now, and we want to downsize. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream as much as you could. I apologize for the audio. I will do my best to figure out how, in those situations, we can make it a lot louder for you guys, but I'm going to put together my actual live show, get that together, and maybe, hopefully I do see you guys here soon. Probably in about an hour and a half if you guys want to come back and we can go over maybe some comments of the presser and some other things that are happening. The mayor and the governor recently had their own mini press conference on CNN. And there's a lot more going on as well. So, yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. Make sure to please subscribe. Notifications on helps out a ton. And thank you guys so much for being here. God bless, and we will see you all later. And please pray for peace. We need that right now. Thank you guys so much.